Welcome to the Win, Make, Give podcast. Chad Himes here, where we focus on health, wealth, leadership, legacy. And that's why I bring my friend Bob Stewart, because this guy is just a whiz at all these things. And Bob Stewart, good to see you today.
Hey, Chad. I mean, maybe 3 out of 4. I'll tell you, the health, I don't know if I'm a whiz at that. That's why we bring you here. You're supposed to be the guy there. But okay, you know what? I told you this earlier, and you can see me, but others can't. Yep. I'm drinking water right now.
Very proud.
It's a step up for me, man. I'm drinking water, so I'm trying to get in my. Wait, what is? It's like half your body weight in ounces or something.
Half your body weight in ounces.
I weigh about 200 pounds, about 100 ounces. So I'm going to get into 12 of them right here while we're doing this podcast. How about that?
All right. So, folks, if I ask Bob a question and he doesn't answer, it's because he's run off to pee. Right. So we'll just keep going. Don't worry about it as he tries to guzzle down all that water for me. Look, Bob. I've heard from a lot of our audience, and I love it. I know you do. I love when they reach out. I love when they Facebook message me. I love when they just comment in our Facebook group. That's Win, Make, Give. I love when they text message me if they have me, or my email address when I get the chance to check emails. I love hearing from our audience. And of late, I've heard a lot of people talk about a few of the episodes that we've done. The Reinventing Yourself episode. Bob, you'll remember it. It's one where I was trapped in the closet while actually recording with you. Right. And we did one on growth mindset recently. And I've had a lot of people reaching out to me and really, really thanking us for the information we shared and how they think some of those episodes, that's like a top 10 episode for you guys. Right. So love hearing that. And thank you very much. Bob, we're recording this. Again, we don't know when Dave drops these. We're recording this in the fourth quarter. Okay. Of 2022. I'm sure it'll be dropped before year end. And this is the time of year where everybody's thinking about next year. Now it's time to just say, you know what? Forget it. I didn't do it this year, but next year, right? And they're starting to think that and they're saying things. And I've had these 3 words that have been flying around in my head. I've been working on a new class that I'm teaching. And these 3 words have been flying around in my head. And I want to put you on the spot today. So you okay being in the hot seat?
Always. Let's do it.
And folks, these are some of my favorite episodes because Bob doesn't know what's coming any more than any of you do at this moment. So we're going to have some fun with this. So forgive some of those long pauses. It's either him running to pee or stalling with answer for me. Bob, there's 3 things I think everybody needs to do going into 2023. Okay. And I'll give you the 3 words and then we'll go through each one of them. And it's claim, reclaim, and release.
Okay.
They claim, reclaim, and release. Now, what I mean by that, Bob, is, and let's put you on the spot here for number 1, which is claim. There is a skill, there is a task, there is something you need to claim and add to your repertoire as you go into 2023 to improve your health, wealth, leadership, legacy opportunities, business, whatever area that's going to be. Tell me, Bob, what comes to your mind? I'm giving you a few seconds to think about it as we talk here. What comes to your mind that you need to claim as Bob's for 2023 to move forward in your life?
Actually, you know what's funny, Chad? This is like I've been doing a lot of work this year on myself personally and professionally. And so this is a combination of some of the mentoring I've gotten professionally and some of the therapy I'm doing personally to come to this answer. The skill that I am going to develop and become more comfortable with in 2023 is conflict management or running at conflict. I think one of the things, my wife she runs to conflict. Ben Kinney runs to conflict, not because they love conflict, because they understand that conflict unattended can be disastrous. And so I hate conflict. There's a whole bunch of reasons that related to my childhood, my upbringing, that I just do not like conflict, and I tend to avoid it. And one of the problems with that is it's made me a less effective leader with my people. Right? I'm more prone to be like, oh, I know that was a big deal and she messed that up, but I'm not going to talk to her about it. I'll just let it work itself out. Like, there's just been a number of times where the other thing is personally, unresolved conflict leads over the long term to resentment, which ultimately breaks relationships down. I think one of the biggest kind of killers of relationships, your intimate ones or just your friendship ones, are are unresolved conflict, which leads to resentment. So I need to claim in 2023, the conflict management skills, or kind of just lean into that. And I've been doing it a lot recently, Chad.
That's
I've
awesome.
been like right away when I'm like, oh, that's going to be a conflict. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Because I'm sitting there telling my boys, hey, boys, the best things in life are on the other side of that little pit you get in your stomach when you're like, I don't want to do that thing. It's hard, it's challenging, and I don't feel good about it. So I decided I'd probably start taking the advice I'm giving my kids. And conflict has been one of those things I just am trying to lean into it. And the cool thing is I'm still here. None of those things have killed me, right? All the worst, in my head, the worst things that could have happened rarely happen when I lean into it. So that's mine. What about you, buddy? What are you going to claim in 2023?
Oh, wait a minute. Well, hold on. We're not talking to me, Bob. I don't have answers for these. I just have the words, right? I'm a coach. I just ask these things of people. Look, if you put me on the spot, what am I going to do? I'm going to probably, I could come. It depends on which area of my life I want to go into, right? So,
okay.
And I will.
Well, let's go with the one that you're super. Let's do the one you're super comfortable talking about all the time, and health. Like, what are you going to claim for your health in 2023?
So for my health, I will, I'm going to narrow it down even. I'm going to go to Spartan, right? I'm going to get really specific, not just my health. I have to claim pull-ups.
Okay.
And it's something as simple as that, right? I have to commit to the skill of pull-ups and saying, look, I'm going to claim I'm going to get a pull-up bar in the house. I'm going to do X number of pull-ups a day, or I'm going to do this so I can progress to doing X number of pull-ups in a day. I'm going to claim the simple skill of pull-ups because so many of the Spartan obstacles involve that upper body pulling, holding, monkey bar type thing. So I'm going to claim that I will add that to my world for 2023 because it's something that I need.
Yeah, love it. All right.
I could do the same thing in my relationship with Nita, right? What will I claim? I can claim that I'm going to get better communication skills, right? Because I often bulldoze. I'm a salesperson, so I'm going to obviously always sell every conversation as best I can. I'm going to claim leading or listening abilities better in my marriage because, she deserves it. How many of us right now can stop and say, the person who I'm probably meanest to out there is my partner? Right? Because I get stressed that I can't take it out on Bob that he did this. I can't take it out on Ben because Ben's the boss. I can't take it out on that person across the street who I'll never see again or something. No, we take it out on that person that's so much. I need to claim listening so that I don't just bulldoze situations, Bob.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put that.
All right. Good one.
So that was claim. Audience, I challenge you, pause. Write down something that you're going to claim in 2023 or let your mind go as we finish this episode and say, okay, claim is word number one. What do I need to claim to add to my business, to add to my relationship, to add to my health, whatever area of life you're truly going to focus on in 2023. All right, Bob, the second word was reclaim.
Oh.
Okay. So here's the difference between claim and reclaim. Reclaim is something you did well at some point, and you probably stopped doing it for some reason, right? I got good at it, and then I just got lazy doing it, so I don't do it anymore, or whatever it is in that situation. So, Bob, what's something you'll reclaim in 2023?
This one actually, God, it's almost like do you have a camera in my house?
A few of them, actually.
Friggin' knew it. God dang it. All right.
Actually, folks, we have cameras in all of your homes. Ben has learned how to hack your webcam. So we have been watching all of you, just so you know, as you listen to the episodes. We know that you're not paying attention right now.
Actually, this is messed up because I don't even know that I said this out loud to anybody. So do you have like a bug in my brain? Now I'm starting to get a little bit freaked out here. Writing is what I want to reclaim in. So, not writing like with a pen, but like journaling or I would call it blogging.
Yep.
I want to be I want to reclaim, that's from 2007.
Bob, you were the ultimate blogger. You were the guy who taught all of us how to blog.
But it's not even that I've taught everybody how to blog in the real estate industry. It's also that I wrote something every single day.
Right.
Like every day for years, for probably 5 years from 2007 to 2012, I wrote a piece of content that we published every day. And, it was funny. I was talking to my wife, Chad. I'd written something. I wrote a story. My mom asked me to share something on Facebook recently for her Airbnb.
Okay. I saw that.
Yeah. And I'm like, and look, I don't know if my mom listens to these. I don't know how, I think she listens. I don't know how many she listens
My
to.
mom.
Okay. A bunch of years ago, my mom asked me to share something that was kind of salesy. I don't even remember what it was, but I told her, I'm like, I don't do that. She's like, what do you mean? This not a big, I'm like, Mom, I don't want to share that salesy thing with like all my Facebook friends. I'm good. Like, don't ask me to do those things anymore. Well, 4 or 5 years later, she forgot because she's like, hey, I got some openings at my Airbnb. Will you share this thing? And I'm like, I wanted to say no, Mom. I don't know if you remember, I told you this. I don't do this. But anyway, so I'm like, all right, I'll share this thing, right? Sure. But I'm gonna write a story because her Airbnb was my grandmother's house. And, my grandma passed away a few years ago. My mom inherited it with her siblings, and my mom bought her siblings out and has put a bunch of money remodeling this house. It's beautiful. It's not the house I went to of, the summers for my grandma. It's just beautiful. It sits on the water here in Puget Sound, and it's amazing. And she Airbnbs it. So I wrote a story about growing up at this house, and I was like, I'll post it, Mom. But it was this really long story about kind of what it was like for me as a kid going out to that house. And I had one guy was like, dude, like you're hired. You can write my listing descriptions. And I was saying to my wife later, I'm like, honey, I put some time into this because it was for me. It's like, she's like, why did you write this long story sharing your mom's Airbnb? And I'm like, well, 2 reasons. One is because I wasn't going to share unless I could give it some meaning. Yep. Right. I'm not just like pimping out my mom's Airbnb to all my Facebook friends. The other thing is I wanted my kids, who knows, Kellen and Chase and Carter to come back and read this thing 15 or 20 years from now and get an idea of how Dad grew up, right? And what it looked like in the summer times for Dad going to Grandma's house, because they know what it looked like in their summers going to my mom's house, their grandma. But it made me nostalgic for the writing. I was like, I haven't done this for so long. I'm out of practice for it, but it actually connected to me. So recently I was thinking like, that's what I'm going to reclaim writing. Okay. Sorry, that's a long-winded story to tell you why I think that. And look, we all know, I know, and I'm as guilty of not journaling. And it's not necessarily going to be, I'm out there publishing a bunch of things like I was doing for 5 years, back then, or 7 years. But it's definitely going to involve writing like daily, probably.
Okay. And that's powerful. I love that post that you did post and you did share. Bob, I'll just answer because I know you're going to say, all right, so I'll stay in the same.
I'm going to give you an out. I was going to say, do you want to answer this?
I'll answer. Right.
Just kidding. No outs.
And I'll go with the 2 categories that I quickly threw it out there just so people can see. And again, it's top of my head. I haven't sat down and done my planning for 2023 yet. For the Spartan world, because I plan to run a lot more now that I'm down in Atlanta, there's more to get to around here. I'm going to reclaim burpees. Now, everybody out there, that sucks, right? I used to do burpees on a regular basis every day because they are part of Spartan, and I wanted to make sure I was as strong as possible for them. And I have allowed my burpee prowess to fade away, so I'm not as fast as I used to be.
Those things are miserable, by the way. Like, I didn't have any idea until recently. Ryan Greg called. I was in his office. He's like, want to do 15 burpees with me? And I'm like, sure. What the heck?
Yeah, I remember that.
15 burpees. Who knew?
I remember that day. Yeah, you came in huffing and puffing for the next like 45 minutes.
Oh, whatever. After it was like 43 minutes. What are you talking about?
Well, at Spartan, look, if you fail any obstacle at Spartan, it's 30 burpees, and they penalize you 30 seconds for every burpee you actually do poorly. Like if you don't follow the rule of your chest touching the ground, your feet leaving the ground, your hands over your head, they'll penalize you for it.
Wow, so that Joe DeCina is a real prick, isn't he?
He can be, and he loves that people think that about him because he knows it's in our own good. So I'll reclaim that for my Spartan world. And for my marriage, I will reclaim, you said writing, and I've shared this on the podcast before. I did that gratitude journal for Nita, where every day I wrote something that I was grateful for her, and I gave it to her as a birthday gift when she turned a milestone birthday. We'll never discuss a woman's age, right? And I don't have a reason to necessarily give her the book but I will get back to writing, or at least sitting down and telling her every single day something that I am grateful about her that day, so that even on those bad days, it will force me to stop, because we all have them. It'll force me to stop and find the thing that I'm still grateful for.
All right.
All right. So claim, reclaim. Bob, the third one, release. We got to let go of something that no longer is serving us, or we've got to let go of someone maybe that's no longer serving us. What comes to mind for you as I put you on the spot for 2023's release?
Well, given that I have no idea who listens to these podcasts on the other side, you can damn sure believe it's not going to be a person that I need to release, because I don't know who listens to these things. So let's go with like something I do, and I'll just keep it in the professional realm here. I got these teams, and I mentor, I coach them, and I need to release the frequency at which I do that, because here's what I've learned is I'm not as important as I think I am to them. Like, and look, I want to be, and I think it makes me feel good. And they're like, yeah, Bob, if you're willing to give us the time once a month, like we'll show up and take that hour, which now is a half hour if you listen to one of our previous episodes here. But
yep,
that it's I don't need to meet with these people monthly. I know that I could give the same impact to them quarterly. And yet I have, for whatever reason, like maybe it's part ego, by the way, like thought that it had to be this frequency. And so I'm going to release a little bit of my ego as it specifically relates to the impact I can have on these people, because I believe I can have the same impact once a quarter with them, given that the things we're talking about are habits they have to establish that a lot of times don't show up by the next month anyways. So that's mine. It's this idea of this monthly call routine that I've been in with a lot of these people for a really long time. When I think the reality is I can give them the same value once a quarter, and my ego doesn't need to be on that call with them every month feeling like, wow, I did a really great job for them that month. That would be my comment.
How many people listening to the episode are now going to say, wow, yeah, Bob, whether it's the exact same, it's ego, right? I need to release my ego where it's about me, where no one can do it as well as I can, where, all of those things. It's not true, right? That's our ego saying to us, we're the only one that can do this, right? It's the biggest challenge with any entrepreneur in any industry. It's allowing someone else to do the thing that you think you're the only one that's good at, right? It's Emerald allowing someone else to make the dish.
Yeah.
Right.
I've got a few people. I've got numerous people today on my team that have helped me let go a little bit of that ego. I'll drill in on one kid specifically, Joe, who's on my team. They're like, and then I have a lot of these people. I'm just picking on Joe because he's the most recent person I did this with yesterday, where there's things that I've thrown over to him where, Chad, my ego, even a year ago, or maybe even 6 months ago, would have been like, he can't do that. But maybe it's partly because Joe shows up, and a lot of my team's been really showing up amazingly that I'm like, I think they can do it. And the more you do that, you go, okay, I don't need to be the guy. I let Joe be the guy. The more he stands up and be's the guy, right? Or Terry stands up and be's the guy, or Emily stands up and does it, then you're like, okay, cool. Like they can take this, and it actually frees you up to be able to, in my case, delegate a little bit more. So yeah, but my ego for a long time would be like, nobody can do it as good as me. So yeah, that definitely resonates. Thank you for expanding beyond my one narrow, nod to my ego there.
All right, and Bob, I'll put myself in the hot seat. When it comes to releasing in Spartan, I'm going to release the alcohol, right? And I'm not a big drinker, but for those of you who listen to the podcast regularly, you have been on the journey with me either through Facebook or through the podcast that Nita and I moved across the country. It has been a grueling amount of time, including having our house and living out of boxes for so long while we had the house on the market, the cross-country move, the renovations that have been going on. We don't have a moment to ourselves where there isn't somebody in our house doing something. It's driven me to drink, right? It's driven me to the point where at the end of the night, we're like wine or champagne because we're celebrating somebody got something done, or, a stronger drink because it's one of those days. that I know for my success at the races when I get into the 2023 season, I need to release the alcohol and it can't be as regular a thing for me. So that's one that I'm going to release there. In my marriage, I'm going to have to think about that. Obviously, I can't release a person because I would never want to let go of Nita. Yet what do I need to release? It's probably somewhere in that ego, right? That I don't always need to be right. I heard Clint Swindoll say this on one of his podcast episodes. You know, when you talk with and argue with your partner so that you can be right about something, what you've just done is made your partner a loser. And if someone else made your partner a loser, how would you feel about that? Yet that's what you're doing every time you argue with them, and you have to be right.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad at that. I should give that up in 2023.
Right. And I think it needs to be time where it doesn't matter, even if I know that she might be inaccurate because she's saying, hey, that's the person from that movie. And I know it's not, to just say, okay. Right. And there's just no need to argue about it most of the time.
Chad, I got kicked out of class in the 3rd grade by a teacher named Mr. Bush on the 2nd day that I showed up at a brand new school. And because I told him that Mount Rainier was not the tallest mountain in the United States, Mount McKinley was. Now, technically, Mount Rainier is the tallest mountain in the continental United States. And I had an argument with this teacher and he kicked me out of class. And ever since then, I've had to be right because he embarrassed me and he kicked me out of class the 2nd day of school. And what's my therapy session? God damn it. I got to
Bob, you're absolutely right. And then that'll probably be my thing. And I bet a lot of people out there will be hearing it and saying, oh, maybe I don't have to always be right. Yeah, maybe I can let the other person be right because it's not that important in most situations that I find myself arguing. Look, audience, we want to help you make 2023 the best year you've had yet. Whether that's through the Wealth Series 2.0 that we're going to help you create wealth, generate more wealth, control your wealth, spend your wealth properly to create that legacy, whether it's your leadership abilities, whether it's your relationships, whether it's your health. We want 2023 to be one of your best years ever until 2024 comes along. So we've been challenging you with this reinvention concept. We've been challenging you with this Ikigai concept. We've been challenging you with a lot of this stuff interdispersed in our episodes. And today we challenge you. Take a minute, sit down, let us know, because I'm going to be asking in the Facebook group, that's Win, Make, Give on Facebook there. I'm going to be asking you, what are you willing to admit and shout out loud and say, I'm going to claim, reclaim, and release to make 2023 the best year I've got. Bob, I look forward to seeing the success that our audience is going to have. I look forward to them coming along with us on the journey. I look forward to taking this journey with them. I'm excited about 2023 because I think it's going to be a hard year. And that's what makes it exciting to me, because hard years are what bring great growth. We talked about it. Normalize struggle on our growth mindset episode, Bob. And I think 2023 is going to actually be filled with a lot of struggle for a lot of people. And we're going to be here with you, audience, going step by step through it so we can help you get where you're going.
Love it. Love it.
All right. So, folks, join us in the Facebook group. Share this with someone because they need to hear it. On behalf of Bob, Ben, Dave, hiding in the background, we want to thank you for always being a great listener here at Win, Make, Give. And until our next episode, folks, as always, do good,